नमस्कार दोस्तों और जय हिंद। आप सभी को स्वागत है इन माय चैनल 1971 वॉर बुक सीरीज। तो दोस्तों, आज हम विंग कमांडर प्रदीप भादुरी के साथ इन आवर सेकंड पार्ट ऑफ आवर वीडियो रिगार्डिंग हिज एक्सपीरियंसेस इन द 1971 वॉर. Today we will be specifically focusing on his experiences in flying the C-119 Fairchild Packet Aircrafts, the main backbone of the transport squadrons of the Indian Airforce in the late 1960s to the early 1970s. Specially used during the Tangail Paradrop of 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War, the C-119 Fairchild packets had an extremely huge space inside to not only allow the transport of paratroopers but also to allow the space to carry a lot of load and cargo inside, with a 5-man crew to fly the entire aircraft. Being a pilot and a flight lieutenant in 1971, we will be learning a bit more about the Fairchild Packet Aircraft, the Flying Boxcar or the Flying Coffin, from the man himself, Wing Commander Pradip Bhaduri. So let's welcome Wing Commander Pradip Bhaduri to our program today.
I will tell you now. I will tell you about the packet aircraft. You see, the packet aircraft was designed to operate from semi-prepared landing grounds. Okay, and also to facilitate maximum comfort during paradroping. That was the basic task given to the designer. Because in Korean War, this was the major criteria for these aircraft to be operated there. It was designed particularly for use for Korean War. Okay, so you see a box, a packet. The photo packet you have seen, na?
Boxcar. Yeah,
boxcar. That is how the name came actually. You see a box, and what they did, they fixed 2 wings on top of the box.
Top of the box, okay.
Okay, and from those 2 wings, they took out 2 booms, and then joined these 2 booms. At the end with a tail plane. Okay, this was packet aircraft. Now, to make sure that uneven ground operation doesn't result into toppling of the aircraft. You know, in a vehicle, if the wheels are close to the body, they are prone to toppling.
Right.
Okay, but the wheels are kept at a distance, then it doesn't topple. So to prevent toppling of the aircraft, they could not put the wheels under the fuselage. Fuselage is the body, main body, the box. They could not put those wheels under the fuselage. As you can see, the normal the transport planes that operate today, no aircraft of today's transports have the undercarriage like the packets. If you notice, all the aircraft that you can see, all the transport aircraft, they have got the wheels under the fuselage onto both sides. Wheels fold and go inside the body. But to ensure that the aircraft will be able to operate from unprepared grounds, semi-prepared runways, that it should not topple, so they had to put the undercarriage way out from the body. That is why the undercarriage of packet aircraft, if you see the photograph, you will notice the undercarriage is about 5 to 6 feet away from the body, and they are coming down from the top of the wing. So you can imagine how tall the undercarriage is.
A lot. Yeah.
If they were under the body, they would have been just about 2 or 3 feet.
And here they might be 15 or 16, more than that, I would say.
But because the aircraft is so tall, and the wings are at the top of the body, and from there the undercarriage is coming down. So you can imagine how tall is the undercarriage. And if you have such a tall undercarriage, you have to have solid struts. Otherwise, they will topple. They will break.
Right.
So the undercarriage system of the packet aircraft is huge, very tall, and very heavy.
Makes sense.
Now you can imagine the packet aircraft engines produce 3,500 horsepower,
Each of them.
each of them. So, as a designer, I don't know why they had to concentrate all that 7,000 horsepower in two engines only. As a designer, I would have distributed it in four engines, so that if you lost an engine, it will be 1/4. But here, if you lost an engine, you lose half. 50% of the 7,000 horsepower is gone.
Yeah.
And now you couple this with the undercarriage coming down. With the undercarriage down, when the aircraft is flying, they create so much of drag
Yeah.
that so much of power of the engine can sustain it. But if one engine goes and you are flying on one engine, and with this undercarriage down, the aircraft does not maintain height. When the undercarriage is down and you have lost one engine, even if it is an empty aircraft, no load in it, and you have full emergency power on the live engine, the aircraft still does not maintain height. It keeps on descending. That is why this aircraft was not given the safety certificate by the aviation authorities. The rule for the safety certificate stipulates that if during takeoff one engine fails, the aircraft should be able to continue to take off irrespective of whether it is empty or loaded. Get my point? On takeoff, if you lose an engine, it can happen. Then the aircraft should be able to continue takeoff with one engine and gain height and come to a safe height before it starts maneuvering. This is the minimum criterion for safety of transport aircraft, any aircraft for that matter. But Packet could not give this criteria any substance because it could not maintain height in spite of emergency power on the live engine if the undercarriage are down, loaded or empty. That is why it was called the flying cockpit, because during takeoff, before the undercarriage is selected up and it actually goes up, if one engine fails, you just would not be able to maintain height and you will crash into the ground. This is the most dangerous part of this beautiful aircraft. It is so nice to operate. As I told you, I have flown 5,000 hours, and I still love to fly it again if I am given a chance. Although I had this, I told you, the engine on fire. Okay, I had. There is another criteria again, which is exceptionally only applicable to packet of those models, because later on they changed the model and this problem was eliminated. There is another problem which is called a runaway propeller.
Runaway propeller.
It is not runway, it is run away. Matlab bhag gaya. Now, how does a propeller run away? You see, when the aircraft is about to take off, the speed is minimum. It is rolling on the runway and it is about to take off. The speed is minimum, but the RPM is very high. In packet aircraft, in my days, those models, the RPM for takeoff used to be 3,000. Okay, 2,900 or something, 3,000 RPM, approximately, near 3,000. But the cruise RPM was 1,600. Okay, propeller is what? A fan, no?
Yeah.
And the blades are either rotated forward or rotated backwards.
Right.
If you rotate it backward, the RPM goes high. there is minimum interference with the air. But for higher speeds, you can't have the minimum angle of the propellers with high RPM. You have to reduce the RPM to increase the propeller angle. Otherwise, the propeller will not give you efficient power. So there is a complicated system inside the propeller to change the angle. At takeoff, it is 3000 RPM, the angle is minimum. So it is rotating like this. And at cruise speed, the angle is maximum. It is rotating like this. Okay.
At low
So,
RPM, but yeah.
at low RPM, for high speed, you require low RPM. For low speed, you require high RPM. Okay. Just take it as a sort of yardstick. Now, if the propellers cannot be governed properly, there is a complicated hydraulic system inside the propeller to change these angles. Get the point? And the hydraulic system is so complicated. You can imagine 2900, 3000 RPM with propellers with 9 feet diameter. Packets, propellers, packets, 9 feet diameter.
Going from the center, right, sir?
So 4.5 feet each propeller. 4.5 feet, 4.5 feet each propeller. So 9 feet diameter and rotating at 33,000 RPM. So how much complicated oil system is required to change the angle of the propeller blades during the rotation itself? Quite often it was found that the oil system used to be malfunctioning.
Hydraulic system, I would say, sir. I guess.
Hydraulic. Any oil system is hydraulic. The oil, there is oil pressure inside the propeller governor hub, and that oil pressure is directed into pistons to change the propeller angle. Get my point? And because of this unlimited range of the load on the propeller, quite often the oil system is to malfunction. And oil system malfunctioning means you are not able to control the RPM and therefore run away.
And neither change the angle of the propeller.
Change the angle of the propeller blade.
Yeah.
Okay. If you can't change the angle of the propeller blade, you have no control over it. That means the fellow run away. That is how the term run away propeller. Now, if the oil system fails and the propeller angle cannot be governed, it will on its own come back to zero angle position.
Okay.
To keep it in that high angle position, you have to push the pistons and keep it locked there. If you don't have the oil system has malfunctioned, that means the oil system is not able to hold the piston in that lock position in the high angle. So the angle creeps back to zero. And zero means the uncontrolled high RPM, 3000 plus. Now, if the blade angle has reduced to zero, then it is not giving you thrust anymore. It gives you, it acts like a, disc.
Disc. Yeah, disc.
It acts like a disc, which is obstructing your airflow. Like a disc. On one side of the aircraft, one engine is giving you thrust, the other engine gives you a disc. It gives so much of drag that the aircraft goes out of control.
You're just going to plummet.
That is, if you have a runway propeller, if you couldn't control it, then you've got no choice, you won't crash. Because whatever you do, you can't, it's a huge disc, like that. When you motorcycle, if you put a huge disc in front of you, you won't be able to drive. So like that, the whole propeller, 9 feet diameter disc is restricting the airflow. So much of drag it cannot stand and it will go and crash. Now, how do you control it? There is only one way. The clue is prevention before cure. Prevention before cure. Once it runs away, you cannot help. Kuch nahi. You are finished. Before it attains the runaway condition, what you can do is, see, when it starts running away, suddenly it doesn't happen. Oil system fails. It cannot fail just like that. It doesn't burst so that all the entire oil is thrown out. No, it starts leaking. It starts leaking little by little, and the controls goes out of control very minutely. What happens is one propeller is rotating at 1600, and the other starts either losing or gaining. Okay? If it starts gaining, say from 16 it becomes 1650, then it is 1700. Then you try to control with the lever, bring it back to 1600. By this process, if you notice that you have already pushed the lever more than half of its width, that means the propeller is going. So then itself you feather it. Do you get the point?
And it was all analog. You have to see through the meters.
Yes, it is all analog because 1960s ना. आजकल का computerization तो था नहीं.
Yeah.
So you had to literally like a hawk watch the RPM. If you notice your ears actually, you could hear mismatch in the frequency.
Right. That even happens when a person is driving a car. You can understand from that.
That's right. Exactly. So your keen ears, you can hear the mismatch. That something is going wrong. Then you watch, then you find that instead of 1600, it is become 1650. Okay, so you bring it back a little, so back to 1600. Again, after some time, again mismatch. You see that again it is picked up to 1650 or 17. Then you know okay, the oil has started leaking. And then you feather it immediately. When you have enough pressure left and it is not run away, then the feathering works. But once it runs away, then feathering also doesn't work. Because there is no oil pressure left to move the propeller. To feather, instead of this condition, you have to bring it to this condition. That is when you call it feather. You see that photograph with the jet pack on top, both the propellers feathered. That means the propeller is now instead of rotating like this, it is come in this configuration and it cannot rotate anymore. That is called feathering. So this feathering action is available to you till such time there is enough oil pressure in the system. So when the RPM is creeping up and you hear mismatch, you try once, try second time, try third time, fourth time you feather. It has happened to me twice. And I am leaving today because I have taken the right action in the right time. Twice it happened to me. It was creeping up, then I said, hell with it, I feathered. So, twice it happened to me. If I did not take the action in the right time, then I would be sitting here and talking to you. Okay, this is the second problem. So, one problem is that undercarriage down, if you have single engine, you have no choice. Second is runaway propeller. If you haven't taken the correct action in the right time, you are doomed. So at Barrackpur, whether the propeller ran away or the engine failure, nobody has been able to find out because the aircraft went into the water and then everything got mixed up. They couldn't analyze to find out. So because of these two reasons, the packet was actually a flying coffin. And when I went to fly in the Ladakh region, there were a couple of places which was marked and all the pilots knew their positions exactly where in previous year these packet aircraft had crashed there. Whether single engine or whether runaway propeller, no difference. Because they couldn't even reach the site because of the location. So that is how packet was a dreaded aircraft. But many other things which was exceptional, like the cockpit. Have you visited a packet aircraft? No.
No, I haven't.
No. The cockpit of the packet aircraft is like a crew room.
Okay.
The pilot, the co-pilot, and behind there is a huge table for the navigator.
Achha.
quite often when you have senior officers flying with you and behind in the cargo compartment it is uncomfortable. I used to call them up, "You come up here and sit on the table of the navigator."
This is so huge.
It was so huge. It was like, this as you see this balcony, you come to my house now. ये balcony से भी बड़ा है cockpit of the packet aircraft.
Wow.
Okay. Then five-member crew, no? Pilot, co-pilot, navigator, then another small table for the air signaler, and then another पीछे एक seat for the flight engineer. Five-member crew. That's it. Then another thing, on top of the packet's cockpit, there is a dome.
अच्छा.
कोई aircraft में नहीं है. No other aircraft in the world has got this feature. Second World War time maybe, because they had to look for enemy aircraft all around firing. But after that, nobody has built such domes. Right on top of the cockpit is a huge dome. You can just stand on the navigator's seat and then look around. And the navigator is to take sights of the stars and the sun and the moon.
Night time flying.
At night time, during the daytime also, if you wanted to see enemy aircraft picture, you can see all around. Stand on the navigator's chair, sitting, and then you could look all around the aircraft, up the top of the aircraft. Okay. So this facility. Then, in fact, as long as she behaved all right, it was so comfortable to fly it. Very exceptionally good. I love flying the packet aircraft, as I told you. And what all I did with the packet aircraft is you can't even believe. That is a separate issue altogether. I'm not talking about it. I did very interesting things with this aircraft. Okay, so that is our packet aircraft. The most interesting feature is that it was designed to operate from unprepared runways in uncomfortable and inhospitable terrain, and then paratrooping and paradropping was a pleasure. You open the entire clamshell door. If you are dropping heavy load, then you on the ground only you open the clamshell door, left them on the ground. So your entire back was open, no restriction, nothing. You could roll out your on the rollers on the floor, and the whatever you wanted to drop would roll directly straight forward and go up. So this facility is not there in those days in any other aircraft. And then again, in hills like Ladakh, no aircraft was designed in our time to operate from Kargil or Pukche or Thois. Leh was okay, except packets. And we had something like 100 plus packets those days. 4 squadrons, 4 complete squadrons. So that is it.
In the next video, we will be solely focusing on the Tangail paradrop and his own experiences as a flight lieutenant and a C-119 Fairchild Packet pilot to fly all the paratroopers, go all the way up to the drop zones and watch as the paratroopers descend down to their drop zones and eventually make history in the Bangladesh Liberation War. As an unsung pilot, a Fairchild Packet pilot taking part in this historic Tangail paradrop, I will want the Indian Air Force to facilitate the gathering of more information on this Tangail paradrop and bring this part of history out to the public after so many years.